everyone, so I'm interviewing Nate Kilton over InsomNEIGha 2, which is coming out, when is it coming out, Nate?
March 27th, baby.
March 27th. So I have a couple of questions for you about InsomNEIGha 1, InsomNEIGha 2, and whatever might be next for InsomNEIGha franchise.
All right.
So are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. You ready to go?
Yes.
All right,
so
cool.
the first question I actually have for you is, how'd you come up with the original idea?
So originally for InsomNEIGha 1, me and Jacob had to write the script for our local town's like film competition. We only had like a couple weeks to do it. And we had writer's block, and like we eventually decided, all right, let's do this dumb movie about some dude that like sees a horse when he doesn't sleep. And originally it was meant to this. I don't necessarily want to say like a throwaway because like I care about all my projects, but I wasn't expecting it to be as good and as well received as it ultimately ended up being. So originally we were just kind of tossing out ideas, and we thought, horses neigh, and InsomNEIGha, like that sort of thing. And we just ended up writing it. We wrote the script, did like a few revisions, filmed it, and then it banged. So, and that led us to here. And I originally left it open-ended at the end, just for like comedic effect. I never had a sequel like planned out when I was like first writing this, or let alone like a whole franchise. But it just kind of all just like came naturally together, and that led us to here.
All right, awesome. So almost to follow up with that question, why did you decide to make a sequel to InsomNEIGha?
So I figured that it was a good open ending that allowed for a sequel to be made, because my whole thing is that like I don't want to just like drag out something if it doesn't need to be dragged out. And I feel like with InsomNEIGha, the first one was super well received. I got to do a whole premiere event for it down in Billerica, and I just figured that a sequel is like almost like necessary. I felt like the idea was so wacky and like out there that like, yeah, like let's make a sequel. Let's throw in the friggin' unicorn. Let's do it. And so yeah, that's kind of how the sequel was made. The sequel was a lot more planned and processed. We started writing it back in like November, so like almost 6 months ago. And yeah.
All right, cool. So for InsomNEIGha 2, what was the filming process? Was it different from the first one? Was it more easier, harder? How do you feel like it went?
So it was. I would say it was a little easier than the first one, because I filmed the first one in like my senior year at high school, and like in between that and filming the second one, I got to go to Hofstra. I got to start taking their film programs, and that just kind of naturally leveled me up. So for the second one, I would say it was a lot more smoother in the sense that I knew more about just like making film in general and stuff, and I was able to kind of like schedule stuff. And the sequel was also longer. It's like 5 minutes longer than the original one. So we had to plan a little more like location shooting and more like studio time, and like scheduling all the actors and stuff. So I would say overall, like even though it is like a larger scale of production compared to the last one, it definitely was smoother to shoot, knowing my knowledge of film now compared to where I was near a year ago.
And with almost going into the filming process, was there any challenges either filming or just thinking about what you wanted the second film to be about? Because with it being so well received for the first one, I'm assuming that you obviously want to top it. So what was almost that process going like into it?
Yeah, so it was hard because one thing I've never done for NK Studios is have a sequel film or like a follow-up. It's always, all my projects have been like one and done, like that's it, that's the film. For the second one, I needed to find a way to naturally follow up the ending, like the first one, like I previously mentioned, while making it interesting, like giving like a good why. Like, why am I doing a sequel? Like, what is the purpose of continuing the story and continuing the drama of Colt trying to battle these horses? So there was a lot of like planning, like when me and Jacob were initially writing and working on the screenplay for the second one, we had to really like think about like what's gonna happen, like what how are we gonna include a unicorn into this? How are we gonna explain how are we gonna explain this like horse universe? Because initially in the first one, all it was just one horse character, being like, on the horse and all that. And for the second one, we had to really expand on where what these horses do and where they're from and how they exist in Colt's world. So definitely there was a lot more thinking compared to the first one about how to follow that up.
Awesome. So Jacob Gagnon, who is the lead, he's returning for the Insomnia sequel. What was the process with getting to film with him, as he is one of the lead stars, but he also is a writer for the project?
Yeah, man, Jacob, dude, no glaze, but I think that dude's a freaking genius. We just work so well. He's been the lead in so many of my projects at this point that we just have this chemistry when it comes to filming, and especially for a sequel, get him being able to return. I feel I'm sure he could give a better answer, but given that he's able to like I said, all my NK films have been one and done, so all his character arcs have been one and done. That's it. Him getting to return to a character he's played before, I feel elevated the role because he's already played this character. He already knows the mindset. And like I said, man, the chemistry between us, we just have such a natural chemistry, and I feel it really I feel you'll really see it in this film, how he captures the Colt energy like he did in the first one, man. It was we just filmed it yesterday. It was great, and obviously him being a writer too, definitely, because being able to act out his own ideas as well, and being able to collaborate with me on such a wacky project, because a film like this, I need the plus one like Jacob, dude. No glaze, like I said, or I'm glazing him, dude.
All right, awesome. So in the sequel, we have a lot new characters, such as the unicorn.
Yeah.
Can you go more, just tell us what and who she is? Without spoilers, of
Without
course.
spoilers. So the unicorn is the horse Colt's. It's really confusing. The unicorn is the assistant of the horse, and the unicorn is this really brash, almost aggressive female character, and it's cool because now with the unicorn in this, the horse has something to bounce off of, even though he's unmasked for the movie. The horse version of Colt gets to now have his own arc in the movie, because originally the first movie was all Colt. Now we swap between what the Colt is thinking and what the horse version of Colt is thinking. And the unicorn is almost necessary for that to happen. She's, I guess you can call her the main antagonist of this movie, because she is that representation of the horses for the whole movie. And yeah, you have to see what she has in store, because it's a lot.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
So for the viewers, what is there to expect about Insomnia 2, and for the viewers to look out for and keep an eye out for?
I would say look out for because the movie swaps a lot between Colt and unmasked horse Colt, and when it's the same actor playing two different characters, it can get confusing. But I think there's a lot of value. We explore the horse a lot deeper in this movie than we did the last one. I would dare say there's even more of a focus on the horses in this one, because the last one we wrote some cheeky horse puns, and there's still a lot of horse puns in this one, but it's a lot deeper. There's a lot more to really dig your teeth into, I'd say. While the first one took a more comedic approach, and there's obviously still aspects of comedy in this one, there's definitely a lot more drama and stakes in this one. So I would say look out for that.
So we're both college students in Hofstra. We've both learned so many different things in both of our fields. So what's something you've learned in college that you took away from and used it for Insomnia 2 when you were filming or making the scripts or anything above?
It's a great question. Well, that, like I said, I got to take my first film class and stuff at a college level, because at my high school there was a film studies class, but that was it. here I got to really dive more into like theories and like different like processes and like rules when it comes to filmmaking that I didn't know for InsomNEIGha 1 or really any film before now, I'd say. And I feel like InsomNEIGha 2 will almost be like a reintroduction, like a coming out party, because I really feel like the quality of film has really like elevated. Cause like my screenwriting skills were always there, but when it comes to actually like using the camera and like getting shots and like knowing like where to put the camera and like what shots evoke what emotions, it definitely elevated the storytelling of InsomNEIGha 2. I feel like I was able to like be more free with the camera, and a lot of editing stuff too. I feel like the editing in this one definitely is a step up. I spent a long time editing, like because we filmed back in like December, January period when I was home from vacation, and then I edited it all like from then to now.
So almost to follow up with this question, is there a specific scene that you're like, I learned so much and that's why this scene is so amazing, without like spoilers or anything?
I would say, I would definitely say the therapy scenes. In the last one, there was only like one scene with the therapist, and then this one there's a lot more. And all the therapy scenes, I feel like cinematography-wise, are just way better. And I don't, cause like obviously like there's a lot of like scenes where the camera moves around a lot and there's a lot of wide shots, but just like, I would say like to be able to capture the intimacy between like therapists and like getting to really like dig deep at Colt's character, and those scenes in particular were so amazing, especially like, dude, the 180-degree rule that I learned here that I didn't know. If I knew that in high school, it would have saved me, and I finally got to really like use that, and I feel like I used that to its fullest potential in all the therapy scenes, really. I love all the scenes. Dude, I love this movie, and like I said, like I think the quality is like a big like increase compared to the last one. Also learning how to like, and this also could answer your last question too, learning like more about like how the actual like camera function works, like the ISO and stuff. Being able to like get a more crisp image, and like being able to like really know what every setting means in the camera now, it makes the film like 10 times better.
All right, awesome. And even going to delve deeper more into the deeper connection that you talked about, it's a perfect segue for the next question I actually have, is in the sequel, we go more into the backstory for Colt in a lot of therapy scenes. Did you have an idea of how you wanted the backstory for these characters to be, or was it just like you thought of it now?
I pretty much just thought of it as I was writing the second one. The first one was just meant as like a one and done, and for the second one, I'm like, okay, like if I'm gonna continue this, I have to like be able to expand on the characters a lot more. Because originally in the first one, Colt, like he's just a dude that can't sleep and that sees a horse version of himself. But in this one, I have to like explain why in like a logical way. Like granted, like it is a very ridiculous like concept, and I'm like fully aware of that. But I had to find a way to make the ridiculous make sense, while being able to like be very like nose on with all the horse puns and stuff like that. So yeah, I almost had like when me and Jake were writing it, we had to be like, okay, why does Colt see a horse in the first place? Like we have to like really like expand on that, because a lot of the because like for the sequel, like the writing has to follow up the first one. So like we even had to like go back to the end scene of InsomNEIGha 1 and be like, all right, what happens? Because at the end of the first one, they're just standing off against each other, but you don't see what they do. Like, so we had to explain like, hey, like what happens right after this? What is the consequences of Colt realizing that the horse is himself? And what does this mean for him as he goes along this journey of the movie, trying to figure this out, having to battle a unicorn? So yeah, definitely a lot of the backstory stuff and like deeper storytelling purposes were all crafted while we were writing the second one. We did not have an idea for going into the first one.
All right, awesome. So this, the next question is, you can actually see this in the teaser trailer, is when you have to make the scenes with Colt going like back and forth, that you see both sides of him. How did you, like with his regular version, his horse version, how did that actually work? What was the process of trying to make that?
So what we had to do, I tried to do that shot in the first one and I screwed it up. So I had to cut it from the first one. So initially a part of the second one is like, because like I said, we had to follow up the ending of the first one and like show what happens, is I'm like, I want to redo that. I want to get that scene down. And I've even managed to make it look better in post, like since that teaser came out. Basically what we do is we have a steady wide shot, and we have Jacob stand on one side of the camera without crossing. Like we have like a halfway point, and like we have him on one side of the camera standing there for a few seconds, and we get another shot without moving the camera of him on the other side, and we just kind of lay those clips on top of each other to crop it out. And then we like feather the edge in post. It's a lot of his editing work. We have to like feather out the edges and like make it look natural without like there's no like shadows or anything getting like cut off like really harshly. And the reason why I screwed it up in the first one is because that scene took place right outside like a gas station rest stop, and there was a car coming, and the light of the car like screwed up the shot where like if I did that split shot, you would have clearly seen like the day and night difference. Like I feel like that's another thing that college has taught me, is that like you really have to think about every aspect, especially when you're filming outside, of like how different like atmospheres and like how light enters the camera. So a shot like that is really hard, but with my film knowledge, definitely like that helped make that scene happen.
All right, now we're actually on to the last question, which I'm sure the viewers want to know. This question is, can you give us anything to anticipate, or if there is possibly to be an Insomnia 3?
Oh. I'll say this. That's definitely been a discussion me and Jacob have had about making this into a trilogy. We haven't made like a decision like we're going to do the third. And this, I can't say too much, but I would just say we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
You have to wait and see. So tell everyone that's watching when and how you can watch Insomnia 2. When's it coming out?
So Insomnia 2 comes out on March 27th. We're having a premiere event here at Hofstra for Hofstra students and people alike on the 26th at 6:30 in the ADR room at Lawrence Herbert School of Communications. You can watch it on my YouTube page, NK Studios-T3Q, or it'll also be on my website, www.nkstudios.art.
All right, that was perfect. So that was the interview with the Insomnia creator, Nate Kilton. To watch Insomnia 2, go on to down below and you'll see the video on March 27th. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, thank you for interviewing me. Thank you for this.
All right, that's everything.